Tires, start your engine!
Tuning up your work week. It's MRN Motorsports Monday, presented by Outback Steakhouse and brought to you by Hercules Tires and Grunt Style Apparel. Now, for the latest NASCAR news and opinions, and even better hair care tips, here's Woody Cain and Joey Meier.
Welcome to MRN Motorsports Monday, presented by Outback Steakhouse, taking a look at what just happened at Richmond Raceway and what's about to happen at the Roval.
The Roval Revolution.
It is a Revolution.
Charlotte Motor Speedway presents the Revolution.
And did you see, I'm sure you did, Martin Truex Jr.'s comment when they asked him after the Richmond race, now you get to go to the Roval, and he goes, yippee! It's going to be unexpected. I think nobody really knows what we're going to face when we go to the Roval, but that's something to keep an eye on as we move through the week here. But first, Richmond. We had Christopher Bell winning the first playoff race on the Xfinity side. He said the schedule didn't really line up well for him through road course season on the Xfinity side. Now he's back to some tracks he feels comfortable at. He wins and advances to round number 2. On the Cup side, Kyle Busch comes from last to first, and he sweeps both races this season on the Cup side at Richmond, and he now goes along to round 2 with your guy, Brad Keselowski.
You know, when we talk about the unknowns, Richmond actually had an unknown status around it because we weren't kind of sure how Richmond was going to be raced because of the next race.
Mm-hmm.
And normally in these playoff point round stages, segments, chase events,
Mm-hmm.
that Talladega is the unknown, right? So everybody goes into Talladega with unknown, but we race.
And everybody squawked about it being a cutoff race, and
Yep.
now it's a middle race
Yep.
and around.
But everybody would race Talladega as an unknown only. We didn't race the race before it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the Roval is such an unexpected race because we haven't been there. We've only tested there.
Mm-hmm.
That everybody thought Richmond would be a little more aggressive or important. But what we ended up seeing was everybody was careful.
Mm-hmm.
Once they got into a certain position, it was like, okay, we're here, we're safe.
Did that surprise you?
It did a little bit. The racing I thought was still very good. The track got very wide. There was a lot of battling for positions, but there wasn't that aggressive nature that we tend to see in the spring race at Richmond. We're a little more beating and banging, a couple more cautions. Heck, we only had one guy spin out and cause a caution. Denny spun out off a Ford, didn't cause a caution. But the strategy really played out. You guys, you had guys that had pitted, trying to get on tires. Again, Goodyear did an amazing job of bringing a tire that fell off. New tires, guys could almost make up a whole lap. So we saw multiple strategies in the stages.
Mm-hmm.
Some guys pitted and used new tires to catch back up.
Denny Hamlin did that after his spin.
Yep.
It didn't wind up having a good race, but he got some stage points in that stage after he spun.
Yep, and then you saw the leaders stay out and just run the whole 100 laps on the set of tires that they were able to do at a much slower pace. So it was an interesting concept. But Richmond, we really thought we were going to see a little more action relative to people getting hurt on their in maneuvers, right?
Mm-hmm.
We didn't see that. We really just saw a race play out as a good race. Martin Truex Jr. came back, finishing the top 3. Little Joey's happy because Kevin Harvick's in the
Another top 10.
Top 10, top 3, right? Kyle Busch came from the back after scrubbing the wall in qualifying. So obviously we had really, really good racing. The 2-car had a good chance, led numerous laps. We actually got behind a little bit on being able to adjust the car. Austin Dillon, again, very unusual. You know, we haven't seen a whole lot of him all this year. After his teammate announced this year he's leaving to go to Roush Fenway with Ryan Newman.
Mm-hmm.
Austin Dillon ran in the top 10 all evening. Eric Amarola, so a couple of surprises with performance, but really the surprise or lack of them was the number of cautions that we didn't have.
All right, Kyle Busch, as we said, goes to victory lane again. Second time he's done it at Richmond. Let's hear what he had to say afterward.
Obviously, just you know, it's really good to have the win. You know, to be able to go into next week. I think anytime you can automatically punch your ticket to the next round, that just makes it even better. You know, being able to come here in Richmond in the fall. Whoever said I didn't win here in the fall race, I got you. We won here now, so you know, finally. Again, I didn't know what was eluding us from being able to win here in the fall, but we were able to get it done tonight. So, you know, it was a handful out there, that's for sure. Car wasn't great early, but once we got some adjustments to it, it really woke up, and car kind of came to us, continuation all night long of the sun going down and just getting better and better, so that was good.
Kyle Busch takes the victory, and by the way, as all season long, you can get that race-winning die-cast of his win at Richmond, as well as all the race-winning and other die-casts are available at planbsales.com. They've got a lot of Kyle Busch cars, a lot of Kevin Harvick cars, a lot of Brad Keselowski cars, Truex cars, all those winning cars and more. planbsales.com. Check them out. 50th career win for Kyle Busch. Just as an aside, he's a former champion, now 50 victories on the Cup side. Is it too early to start talking about this guy as a legit Hall of Famer?
No, absolutely no. Once a driver makes a Cup championship, right? We've seen past drivers in the Hall of Fame don't even have a championship, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mark Martin, one of the greatest that will ever be in the Hall of Fame without a championship. Rusty Wallace is in without winning a Daytona 500, but has a Cup championship and 70, 60-something wins. Once you get to that level, you've reached the pinnacle. And any Cup champ, I'm not saying next year or the year after he retires.
No, you have to wait several years after you
5 years after you retire. But
retire.
once you get the Cup championship, you are Hall of Fame worthy. So I've always said one championship or more, and it's a guaranteed entry. Not right away, not first ballot, not immediately after you retire, but eventually those Cup championships, every one of them that has a championship will be in the Hall of Fame.
All right, we've got a lot more on MRN Motorsports Monday. We'll review the Xfinity race as well, talk a little bit more about Richmond. The new infield area there is fantastic, and we'll continue to look ahead at the Roval coming up this weekend out at Charlotte Motor Speedway.
I'm not blooming good, I'm blooming great. Put a shrimp on the barbie and sizzle my steak. Woo, I want that onion to bloom, and it get in my senses like a sonic boom. No rules, just right. So bold, so nice, and I'm so ready for that Outback steak tonight. Outback Steakhouse, that's what it's all about. Outback Steakhouse. Blooming great.
Are you a serious diecast collector? Do you have a favorite driver? Are you looking for a gift for a race fan? No matter what the question, the answer is always PlanBSales.com. Plan B has all the latest in diecast from Lionel and apparel, artwork, and other items for your favorite driver in NASCAR or other forms of racing. Go to PlanBSales.com, key your driver's name in the handy search window, and look at all the options. Your one stop for diecast and other motorsports collectibles is PlanBSales.com.
Things happen fast in racing, and if you don't know where to look, you can miss it all. With Legend from Racing Electronics, you'll never miss another moment. Legend gives you live fan vision video, in-car cameras, and stats at NASCAR and other Premier Series events. And the next generation race scanner for unfiltered driver and crew audio at any motorsports event nationwide. NASCAR fans have never been closer to the action. Welcome to the future of the fan experience. Learn more by visiting racingelectronics.com.
White flag goes in the air, looking for win number 7, Kyle Busch for the final time.
It took a while to overcome a back-of-the-pack start tonight here at Richmond, but Kyle Busch, half a lap away from completing a worst-to-first performance. He's into turn 3 for the final time.
Kyle Busch now Roval proof. No matter what happens, he's going to move on. He doesn't have to worry about the Roval next week in Charlotte. He sweeps the 2 Cup races at Richmond in 2018.
50th career win for Kyle Busch. He punches his ticket to the round of 12 along with Brad Keselowski. Martin Truex Jr. also clinches on points, and all Kevin Harvick has to do this week is start the race, and he moves on. So essentially 4 of the spots are already locked up.
4 of 12, and you have guys at the bottom that are really concerned because the Denny Hamlins of the world, as you can see, are right there on the outside, but it's close enough that you want to think that you can beat these guys, but the problem is everybody you're racing is finishing in front of you, right? So it's not that I don't feel like Denny Hamlin can't outrun Ryan Blaney, but if Ryan Blaney has a top 10, there's not enough points between 10th and 2nd.
He's got to outrun 3, 4, 5 guys.
It's exactly right. Yeah. So essentially, when you look at the Eric Joneses and the Denny Hamlins of the world in that points list right there, they have to win.
Yeah.
Now
you might have Clint Boyer and Jimmy Johnson be able to race their way in, but the last 2 are going to have to win.
And the last time I checked, if Eric Jones and Denny Hamlin both have to win, They can't.
One of those two is going
that's
home.
That's going to be a problem.
Unless there's just a first lap craziness and half the playoff field gets wiped out right away.
But even then, they both can't win.
No, they cannot.
You're
exactly
win.
right.
Exactly
they cannot do that
right.
for sure.
Yep.
Let's talk a little bit more about what we saw in the Richmond race on the Cup side. One of the things that I noticed is it seemed like a lot of guys, typically you go to a track and we talk about the tire dragon, which you love. This time it seemed like guys were looking for spots that didn't have as much rubber on the racing surface. Why?
You know, it's funny because sometimes it's almost like the mentality of that facility races like a road course when it gets wet. And when A.J. Allmendinger and those guys attack a road course in wet, the first thing you do is stay out of all the rubber. And Richmond tends to do that a little bit, is that wherever the rubber gets, the asphalt has more gription.
Gription, there we go. Haven't heard that in a while.
Right.
Fantastic.
So that allows the track to get wide because the guys want to run around on the bottom, which is the short way around. And even if your car is faster up top, it has to be so much faster up top that you tend to run the bottom. Well, that's where the rubber gets. Well, then the guys that can run outside the rubber and gain a lot of speed, that's why the track is so racy. It's so much fun because there isn't one groove that works for everybody. And there is a mentality of the fact that if I can find a little more gription outside the rubber, even though it's a longer way around, I can beat you off the corner.
And we saw that play out at Richmond as well. Let's talk a little on-track, off-track now, the portion of the program where we discuss things going well and some things not going quite so well in the sport. I'll start with on-track. For me, it's the $30 million that they poured into the infield at Richmond to redesign that whole thing. New garage areas, fan access areas where you can get up close and watch them work on the cars, watch them go through inspection. Also, the victory lane area where fans can get up close, the whole driver intro thing, and Wi-Fi throughout in the infield. A lot of really cool stuff, and it's great to see racing facilities, because we've seen this at Daytona and Phoenix and Richmond and other tracks as well, pouring millions of dollars into the fan experience.
So you and I have not had a chance to talk today before the show, and I have notes that I take, and one says on and one says off, and you have your notes. We have not looked at each other's notes.
No, we have not compared notes.
This is not a magic trick. My on-track says the Richmond fan experience.
I mean, how cool is it?
Yes, it's very, very nice. And the best way you can explain this is we've all gone to the movie theater. We go there to watch a movie. But there's arcade games out in the lobby that allow you to stay there before the movie and or after the movie to enjoy the time you're at that building. This is exactly what Richmond Raceway has done, but on a much larger and a fantastic scale. I heard from more fans because this was really the first race that everything was open. It wasn't.
They had started it last time or right after the first race.
But for you to be able to walk in the garage, which is where you are, you're actually in the garage with the cars, with the crews, and the only thing separating you is a little chain link fence. But you reach out and you can actually pat Paul Wolf on the head if you want to. You're that close to the experience.
Is Paul okay with that?
No.
Okay.
No.
All right.
But you can walk there. And then if you don't want to be in the garage, you can walk out and they're playing music and there's places to stand outside the sun and you have good, the food
and there's
was
some shade as well. Some of those areas are covered and they can remove those.
Yep. And then if you want to walk out to the outside the grandstands and buy some souvenirs, the tunnels to get out there are very nice. There's not a lot of steps, but if you're a wheelchair or a handicapped or disabled person, there's a nice elevator that takes you up that area to get you back outside. Everything was thought about from a fan experience. It now becomes, instead of a race, it becomes an event. You can go there and spend an entire day. You don't have to go, hey, what time's the race start? At 1 o'clock. Oh, I want to get there at 12:30. It becomes an event. And so kudos to those. We're going to see more tracks do it. Talladega's announced it. Phoenix Raceways is finishing up theirs. We've already seen it at Daytona and other tracks. Las Vegas was really one of the tracks
with the neon garage
that started this concept of bringing fans in the garage to give them something to do before the race and then after the race.
Yeah, it's really cool to see, and kudos to the tracks who are pouring money into their facilities. You have a lot of this stuff going on at NFL stadiums, NBA arenas, MLB parks. Good to see racing catching up in that area.
Yeah, no, again, if we can just keep moving forward, it means the industry's going well, and it's providing more for the fan, and that's really what we're doing. We're trying to get them to the track and not just entertain them with racing, which Richmond Raceway does a very good job of, but before the race and after the race to give them something to do.
All right, let's talk a little off-track. What's stuck in your craw this week?
You know, it was actually a very good week from an off-track standpoint, and I'm going to put tongue-in-cheek here, but this young kid from Kannapolis, North Carolina, finished the race at Richmond and worked his way solidly up to 46th in points. And yet we didn't hear a whole lot of people clamoring about him ruining the sport.
Wait, he's a Cup guy.
Yeah, he was a Cup guy.
He's going to be a Hall of Famer.
He retired, and he's associated with another Cup team. Dale Jr. did a fantastic job. It's not really an off track, but I'm going to say tongue-in-cheek because he was in the Xfinity Series. He was taking time away from the Christopher Bells and the Cole Custers and the Justin Allgaiers, and nobody had a problem with it. And so my off track is, let's be real when we talk about Cup drivers in the Xfinity Series. We get it, man. The sport needs these drivers. We get it. The new drivers need to have their time. And I think right now we've had a really good balance of not having full-time Cup drivers in the playoff portion. We have the Cup drivers before that. They can run in a limited number of races, but when it happens, it elevates everybody's status and it makes the industry better because we have good sponsors. It's the number one reason Dale Jr. said he ran this race, as much fun as he had, was to bring money in for his other teams.
And it was already agreed to before his retirement, so he ran that, and he didn't close the door on coming back some more if those elements are present to be able to help the team, and it's a good mix and a good fit for him.
We're going to see him next year as well, I believe, in 2019, at least in one Xfinity race. But kudos to Dale Jr. Let's stop with the nonsense of Cup guys are ruining the sport.
If you hate Kyle Busch, just say you hate Kyle Busch. That's okay.
Exactly
you can do that. It's
exactly
okay.
Right.
But don't try to make up all these other reasons why it's awful.
Right, because the noise gets very loud when Kyle and Brad and Joey run the Xfinity Series and win races. But realistically, when any other Cup driver, the Kyle Larsons of the world, can do it and not hear it, you know there's a discrepancy and a balance of anger.
All right, I don't like to do it, but I'm going to have to agree with you on that one. It really pains me, but I'm going to have to agree with you. All right, we got to take another break here on MRN Motorsports Monday, but don't forget, we're still remembering all the folks who are facing issues still after Hurricane Florence. You can donate by visiting redcross.org or text Florence to 90999 for a $10 donation to the American Red Cross. A lot of the drivers talking about that this weekend. There's still some flooding, particularly as the water moves downstream to some of the areas that may not have been hit quite as hard before. Still a lot of damage, a lot of people trying to put their lives back together.
We're flying over Wednesday to the east side of the state, and one of the things Brad's always done is he participates in helping the recovery people. They often get overlooked on their needs. So we're actually providing food, shelter, and clothing to the first responders of Hurricane Florence, and we'll be over on Wednesday doing some of that.
Fantastic. It's a worthy cause, and make sure you help out. Visit redcross.org. All right, a lot more to come on MRN Motorsports Monday. We'll check out some Xfinity action and look ahead at the Roval coming up this week at Charlotte Motor Speedway.
I'm not blooming good, I'm blooming great. Put a shrimp on the barbie and sizzle my steak. Woo, I want that onion to bloom, and it get in my senses like a sonic boom. No rules, just right. So bold, so nice, and I'm so ready for that Outback steak tonight. Outback Steakhouse, that's what it's all about. Outback Steakhouse, blooming great.
Citywide to countryside, whatever you drive, wherever you go. Hercules Tires has the value, selection, and industry-leading warranty to get you there, no matter where the road takes you. To learn more, visit HerculesTire.com. Hercules Tires, ride on our strength.
Grunt style. The American fighting spirit is in everything we make. We are 500 patriots and veterans strong, bringing clothing manufacturing back to the United States of America. Always moving forward, never retreating, never giving up. We are Grunt Style, and this we'll defend. Get yours at gruntstyle.com.
White flag is in the air. Christopher Bell has the Rheem Toyota in the wind down into turns 1 and 2.
Here he comes into turns 1 and 2 for the final time. He's got all the daylight he needs. No lap traffic to deal with. Maybe one lap car before he's through. Into turn 3 for the final time. Christopher Bell comes up on the lap car of Catherine Legg.
Christopher Bell will lap Catherine Legg one more time. He'll see the checkered flag, and Christopher Bell wins the Go Bowling 250 at Richmond Raceway.
Steve Post, Dave Moody, and Alex Hayden on the call from Richmond on Friday night, and you see Christopher Bell there giving a happy kid the checkered flag after he wins. He comes home again, his 5th win in his rookie season with Joe Gibbs Racing on the Xfinity side, and not a good day for Justin Allgaier as well. That kind of creates some separation among those guys as you take a look at the finishing order there. Ross Chastain, another really good run for Chip Ganassi Racing, his last ride in that car for this season.
Started in the rear as well, had some post-qualifying adjustments. Daniel Hemrick, a very strong run. And that young
Cup
kid,
interloper.
that guy from Kannapolis in his only Xfinity start this year, rounds out the top 4, and then Matt Tifft, Hemrick's teammate. Again, a strong run. I really believe Justin Allgaier, Cole Custer, and Austin Cindric got just racing. We saw a little more action from a yellow flag mentality there on Friday than we did. Is what we were expecting on Saturday, and we didn't get to see any of that. But that's just hard racing, man. Those guys aren't trying to wreck each other. I hate it because Austin Cindric drives for Team Penske.
What is up with the 60 car? They cannot, no matter who's in that car, it can't catch a break.
It's unbelievable, and that's Mike Kelly said he actually tweeted, who's the crew chief, if anybody has any rabbit's feet or something, please, we're taking anything. And it doesn't matter who's in it, and that's what's so goofy about that. But now they've caused more cautions this year than I think any other car was one of their things. It's just a random.
It's insane.
With Ty Majeski, Austin Cindric, and Chase Briscoe all being in that car. Every race, it seems like it gets wrecked, and got wrecked from behind at Darlington, gets wrecked running top 5 last week in Vegas. And, very unusual circumstances with those cars. And I hate to see it because the guys we always talk about the guys in the shop. They're the ones that are having to rebuild those cars and tear them apart. But it happens on Friday. But, again, Christopher Bell, man, a rookie this year. A rookie.
What a strong season.
And leading the points. That'd be kind of an unprecedented. We haven't seen a rookie win a championship in a long time. So the Gibbs hasn't going on, but I'm still waiting for Elliott Sadler and to come on, Elliott, you're holding me up because I really have faith in you. It's your last season in the Xfinity Series, and the veteran leadership that you have in that team, and as good as you're running, I still believe he can pull it off.
You see the cutoff line there just below Brandon Jones, Cole Custer, Ryan Truex, Austin Cindric, and Ryan Reed, the guys on the outside looking in. They go to the Roval this weekend as well, but it's not an elimination race. You have to think a guy like Justin Allgaier, who won 2 of the 3 or 2 road course races so far this season, is going to be a factor there, even though they have not had any time on that track yet. The Cup guys had a couple of test sessions. The Xfinity guys have not, with the exception of Daniel Hemrick, who got behind the wheel of an RCR Cup car. I think for the tire test, he did that.
Yeah, Austin Cindrics of the world, I believe, are going to run good there, and they have 2 optional practice days. 2 optional. It says optional practice sessions, I should say, the day before we actually show up. So that'll be their first opportunity. I find it interesting that they did not get to test, so this will be their first time to go tear up their stuff.
Yeah, and we saw a lot of that when the Cup guys went out there. It was half a dozen at least guys got into the wall there, and it's for folks who haven't seen it or haven't been there, what makes this unique, what makes this so tough? Obviously, there was the newness factor. A lot of guys hadn't been on it, but there are some different angles than these guys are used to seeing.
What makes it difficult is anytime you have a 3,400-pound race car going over 160 miles an hour and you're asking it to stop and turn hard left, which we're going to do multiple times under heavy acceleration and heavy braking. Note the track is very, very flat, specifically on the infield portion of it. Now, the oval portion of the Roval, it's why we call it a Roval. It's a road course and an oval put together.
It's kind of clever.
Yep, it is Roval. So on the Roval portion or the road course portion, it's very, very flat. But we have a lot of acceleration and a lot of deacceleration. When we have those opportunities, you have a lot of opportunities for missed deacceleration points, and that runs you off. And when you run off this place, there's no place to stop you from going. You just keep going out in the field.
Off,
Right, not like we've seen at Watkins Glen, where you run off wide going down in turn 1 at Watkins Glen, you're able to get back on the track. We don't have these big runoff areas.
You hit something,
or you run down the bankment, you run off in the field or over where the campers used to be. So it's a very intriguing course. And then you go from 60 miles an hour, you come around the oval portion of it and reach speeds over 150 miles an hour. So it's one of the most, what we call deltas racetracks, so the lowest speed to the highest speed that we run while we're shifting gears.
Yeah.
And that's what's interesting. That's what's going to cause so much anxiety. So we're going to see. It'd be interesting to see who attacks this track the best.
Well, now we've talked a lot. You've mentioned specifically the differences between, say, like a Watkins Glen and a Sonoma with the speeds in particular. At this particular road course, does it lend itself well to a guy who can outbreak the others or a guy who has experience at road courses, or is it so new that even those guys won't have much of an advantage?
I think if we see passing and if we see incidences, it will be under the braking zones, whether it's down in, I think we have 17 complete turns, but we have a small area past the start-finish line. We have a small area over in the chicane, but I don't think guys are going to break a whole lot there. But definitely coming around turns 13 and 14, which are considered, and this is an easy way to remember this, turns 3 and 4 at Charlotte are 13 and 14 on the Roval.
And there is a little chicane back there, similar to what you see going into turn number 3 at Daytona for the Rolex.
Exactly right. But the very little braking back there, guys have really learned how to maneuver that on heavy acceleration. But as we come around turns 13 and 14 back to the front stretch, there's this little kink that'll make they put that in there to slow you down before getting to the start-finish line. And that will be a good area to dive inside of somebody and under braking. So braking zones are going to be very, very critical for most of our activity this weekend.
One other thing I wanted to ask you about on the Roval. We've seen a lot of times over the last few years where if a guy spins off the track or has a minor incident and gets down into the grass, he can dig that splitter in and it rips it apart and he's done for the day. They have now put artificial grass on the front stretch area where we've seen grass in the past at Charlotte. Will that prevent these guys from digging down in there, or will it mean they're sliding and can't really stop? What do you expect?
We don't know what to expect. That's the interesting. We've tested this place a minimum of 4 times. I think we've had 2 tire tests, 2 open cup tests. They never had that artificial turf down in the infield.
It wasn't finished yet.
Plenty of cars have gone through the area with the old grass, and we did dig them up. It'll be very interesting to see. The idea is that this grass won't dig the car up, or the car won't dig the grass up.
Dig the nose into the grass.
But if you've ever looked at a face of a Shar-Pei, which is a dog, that's what some of us think it might look like. When the grass hits, it just wrinkles up and has this big clump of turf. We hope that doesn't happen. That'll be the unexpected idea. They're trying to cause not the grass hurting the car. They're hoping it can skip across this artificial turf.
Like a rock on water, a flat
Exactly
rock
right.
on water.
Right.
It'll be interesting to see if this works well, if other tracks adopt it as well, because too many times we've seen a minor spin ruin a guy's day because that splitter, that nose digs in.
2 weeks ago we saw it. Denny Hamlin got to the grass at Vegas, a minor spin, but he was done for the day simply because he went through the infield. The nose of the car dug into the infield. It tore the nose off the car, and he was done for the day. Didn't hit anything on the wall. His damage was all done by the grass.
Are you a guy who is an advocate of getting rid of the splitters altogether and raising them up and having that be sort of an equalizer versus having them stuck so tightly to the track?
The splitter is something that we utilize, and people don't really understand, but the splitter is easy downforce. And the reason we have the splitter is we got away from the twisted sister bodies. We used to have these cars that were all twisted up and looked like they were wrecked before they even got on the car to create downforce.
And they're angling sideways as they're going straight.
So now the cars are more square up. They look more normal, but we had to add splitters and spoiler combinations to give them more of an equal downforce. Yeah, I'd like to see them all get away. And go back to the old style cars, but simply put, the cars on the road today wouldn't race as well as the cars we saw back in the 70s. It's hard to unlearn aerodynamics. So
yeah, it's still there whether you like it or not. Yeah.
You know, today, Woody, when we got dressed today, I saw you put on a black shirt.
Yes, I did.
And I'm wearing a blue shirt, BLUE.
Okay.
An interesting Steve Post comment's going to come up here after this, talking about BlueChew.com. Here it is.
Hey guys, remember the days when you were always ready to go? Now you can increase your performance and get that extra confidence in bed. Listen up, BlueChew.com. That's blue like the color blue. BlueChew.com brings you the first chewable with the same FDA-approved active ingredients as Viagra and Cialis, so you know that they work. You can take them anytime, day or night, even on a full stomach. And since they're chewable, they can work up to twice as fast as a pill, so you can be ready whenever the opportunity arises. Blue Chew is prescribed online and shipped straight to your door in a discreet package, so no in-person doctor's visit, no waiting in the pharmacy, and best of all, no more awkwardness. They're made in the USA, and since Blue Chew prepares and ships direct, they're cheaper than a pharmacy. Right now, we've got a special deal for our listeners. Visit BlueChew.com and get your first shipment free when using our special promo code RACING. Just pay $5 shipping. Again, that's BLUEChew.com, promo code RACING to try it free. Blue Chew, It's the better, cheaper, faster choice.
I'm not blooming good, I'm blooming great. Put a shrimp on the barbie and sizzle my steak. Woo, I want that onion to bloom, and it get in my senses like a sonic boom. No rules, just right. So bold, so nice, and I'm so ready for that Outback steak tonight. Outback Steakhouse, that's what it's all about. Outback Steakhouse, blooming great.
Are you a serious diecast collector? Do you have a favorite driver? Are you looking for a gift for a race fan? No matter what the question, the answer is always PlanBSales.com. Plan B has all the latest in diecast from Lionel and apparel, artwork, and other items for your favorite driver in NASCAR or other forms of racing. Go to PlanBSales.com, key your driver's name in the handy search window, and look at all the options. Your one stop for diecast and other motorsports collectibles is PlanBSales.com.
Clutch Coffee Bar in Mooresville, North Carolina is redefining the drive-thru coffee game in Race City, USA. The Clutch experience is quick, efficient, and personal. Unmatched customer service is the name of the game. Clutch Coffee Bar offers signature espresso drinks, classic coffee, custom-flavored infused energy drinks, smoothies, and more. With over 25 flavors, there's something for everyone. Visit our 2 locations in Mooresville, 356 Williamson Road and 154 West Plaza Drive. Open daily 5 a.m. till 9 p.m. Power up today with Clutch Coffee Bar.
I'm Kevin Harvick, and it's another Bloomin' Monday. Ask for your free Bloomin' Onion tonight at Outback Steakhouse. Now it's back to Woody Cain and Joey Meier.
Bloomin' Monday here after Kevin Harvick produces yet another top 10 finish. Little Joey is excited. You go by, you have a meal, you tell him, I want my free Bloomin' Onion because Kevin Harvick did it again, and he is the Onion King this year.
Last 3 races, everybody was wondering, where's the big 3? We've heard about the big 3 all race, and they're like, we're here.
Yeah,
we're
1,
here.
2, 3.
Yeah,
I think.
we're here.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah, 1, 2, 3. Well, Chase was 4th. Brad, we had a good day, good all night. Just got a little late behind this adjustments. Finished 9th, but again moved on to the second round already. Realistically, when you look at the points, we looked at it earlier. The top 19, only 4 guys aren't in the playoffs that were in the top 19. So everybody's running good that should be running good. But this coming weekend is really, really going to be fun to watch, because it doesn't matter where we finish. And I can't overstate that enough. The stress level that the teams that are already in the second round, or a team like Christopher Bell, who's solidly in the playoff for him in the Xfinity Series, the stress level is just lower. And so I'm really looking forward to. And if you looked on a weather app, whether it's weatherchannel.com or whatever weather app you choose, there is a chance of rain this weekend.
And that means the possibility of rain tires.
Get a little rain tires. So we're going to have windshield wipers. We're going to have the possibility of rain tires. And golly, if it only rains on practice day, what happens there?
Yeah.
So
hey, that reminds me of something else. So you mentioned the windshield wipers. There was a lot of talk earlier about guys kind of using that to an aero advantage. Is 100%. There anything really to that?
Absolutely,
or is it 100%. Negligible?
No, 100%. What it does is it redirects the air back on the roof, gets it over the roof onto the spoiler, creates downforce. Absolutely. It's 100% true. It's why you see them at such an angle, and actually why you're like, why is that windshield wiper so big? It's the
why doesn't it fold down flat like it does in your street car?
Exactly.
Yeah.
No, we put it at a very specific angle on the roof to direct the air over the roof and over the spoiler to create more downforce. It's very similar to what you see on the roof rails already. Mm-hmm. If we could make those rails 6 inches taller, we would as teams. We can't do that because the NASCAR doesn't allow it, but if we could make them longer, we would. NASCAR won't allow it. So what we do now, when able at a road course, we run that windshield wiper, and it redirects the air and keeps it on the roof.
Now, are those, I think at first there was some leeway going on there, but are those mandated in terms of how big they can be?
I think NASCAR's trying to get back to having a regular windshield wiper blade that doesn't look like a 4x2 or 2x4 sitting on the windshield. But again, teams are going to utilize, you got to remember, small example real quick. Years ago, only 1 or 2 cars had in-car cameras, and that roof camera mounted on the roof. They were utilizing it at angles as an advantage, and teams found out. So now you'll see every car in the garage has a roof camera mount even if it doesn't have a camera in it, so that no team can get an advantage.
Wow, there you go. Don't forget, folks, our friends at the Performance Racing Network will have the action at Charlotte Motor Speedway on Saturday and Sunday. However, the Motor Racing Network does have a race for you coming up at Martinsville, the big late model extravaganza. The Valley Star Credit Union 300 comes your way Saturday night at 7:30, one of the biggest late model races in the country, and we will be broadcasting that one live. Don't forget as well, NASCAR Live coming up on Tuesday night at 7 Eastern with Mike Bagley. I'm Woody Cain. He's Joey Meier. We'll see you right back here next week to talk about the Roval.